So I'm not abandoning ship on Riot. It is one of my high conviction plays. But all right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about Riot Platforms, stock ticker RIOT. They're a Bitcoin mining company. They put out their May monthly operational report this morning. At the beginning of the year, I gave a list of my highest conviction plays in the Bitcoin mining sector. This was ranked number one for me on January 1st of 2023. I no longer have this as number one. I still like this stock, but I'm going to tell you some of the big questions that I have and what I'm thinking about doing with this stock myself. So I'm sure that you guys have a lot of the same questions. So let's talk about it. Okay, we'll start up by looking at Riot today. It's trading at $11.13. It's still the morning, so it's down about 5% on the day. Everything's a little red at the moment. So this puts them just under a $2 billion market cap. So as always, we like to put that into historical perspective. Back in February of 2021, Riot was about just under a $6 billion company. So I'm going to look at two different numbers. Fast forward to November of 2021, which is when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. Riot was about a $4 billion company. So down 50% does not sound great from a market cap standpoint, but it's actually outperforming by far its peers over that what is now over a year and a half period. Okay, so let's talk about their May updates. Riot produced 676 Bitcoin in May of 2023 and provides operational updates. So the first thing I'm going to say is that is more than they produced in April of 2023. But Riot has another piece of their puzzle. They kick money back to the grid and they get paid in credits. I think we're to see they got $2.4 million for that. So, that's the equivalent of maybe between 85 and 90 Bitcoin. So having said that, if we look at their Bitcoin mined per month, they've had several months in the year 2023 that were better than this. First of all, their all-time record was in January of 2023 with 740 Bitcoin mined. So they really have not been able to match those results since then. It does still leave them in second place overall for number of Bitcoin mined, but there are a lot of people catching up to them, and they're falling further behind Marathon. So those are some of the things that concern me. I do have concerns with this company. I'm going to note right now, later I'm going to talk about some of the reasons I think this is a good company and a strong company. One of the main reasons is their balance sheet. So they have one of the best balance sheets. In my opinion, they have the best balance sheet in the business. So that is a big factor. Their cost per coin is a big factor, and it seems like they're managing with these credits to continue to reduce their cost per coin. So this makes it a very difficult stock to analyze for me. If you take a look at the financial statements that they put out just a few weeks ago, data center hosting revenue was $9 million for the first quarter of 2023. Data center hosting direct cost, $25.6 million. So they lost almost $16 million in their hosting services. So you have to weigh this. If they're going to have three segments of the business, and this is supposed to be a profit center, but they're losing a significant amount of money in their data center hosting. And I will say, they lost money in the fourth quarter. They talked about the fact that they continue to be dedicated to this being a profit center and that this would improve. But in fact, in the first quarter of 2023, it got substantially worse. So this is a concern for me. So this is where I'm saying there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of Riot. So this is one of the pieces I'm most concerned about. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead for just a second to another piece that I'm concerned about, and then we'll get back to that chart. Riot ended the month of May with approximately 800 miners staged for deployment. Upon deployment of the staged miners, the company expects to have a total of 94,976 miners deployed with a hash rate capacity of 10.6 exahash. So that's up just a little bit. They've been at 10.5 exahash, but here's the part that I'm concerned about. In parentheses, it says, which excludes 17,040 miners currently offline in Building G. Okay, so it's now June of 2023, and these 17,000 miners are offline. The language that they're using in their monthly updates isn't really giving us any indication at all of what is going on here. When are these coming back online? So what I would rather see is a timeline, not just their 10.6 excludes Building G. Now, they do say estimated hash rate growth. Due to the ongoing impact of damage incurred in Building F and G during the severe winter storm in Texas in December of 2022, Riot anticipates achieving a total self-mining hash rate capacity of 12.5 exahash in the second half of 2023. They anticipated already being there right now. So they're giving a little bit of a time frame, sometime between now and the end of the year. But But what's going on? I would love a more detailed update as to exactly what the plan is, where they're at in the plan, and how they're going to get these back online. Okay, so we just talked about a couple of my main concerns. Let's get back to their operational update chart here. Bitcoin held 7,190, so they did add a little bit to their Bitcoin hodl position. This is the third largest hodl position of all the publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies, so this is a strong piece of their puzzle. Bitcoin sold 600, so you can see that's the same as last month. They're paying for operations by selling Bitcoin. Now, if they had geared up, if they were mining 700 or 800 or 900 Bitcoin, they would be able to put more in their hodl position, and they are falling behind Marathon, which has 5,000 more Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and that number continues to grow. Marathon actually added more Bitcoin to their balance sheet, 691 in the month of May, than Riot actually mined in the entire month of May. So that's a situation they've got to start closing the gap on, in my opinion. FYI, I did do a deep dive on Marathon. You can check that out. I'll put a link over my shoulder. I am not a gigantic Marathon cheerleader, so I don't want people to think that I'm just cheering for Marathon and saying bad things about Riot. I will tell you, Riot actually was my #1 conviction play. It was rated #1 on January 1st, 2023 on my personal list. So again, that is not financial advice. You guys need to make your own list, do your own due diligence. But I had a very high level of conviction in Riot. I still do, but I do want to point out the things that I have questions on, and I'm hoping that management can maybe next month give a little more clarity as to what's going on in these items. All right, if I look at their investor presentation, which I put out in May, I just want to go through one page here. Riot Platforms is the leading Bitcoin-driven infrastructure platform. So they talk about a few things on here that are very good news. So I spent a lot of time going through the things I have concerns about, but I want to talk about some of the things that I think they're doing very well. Number 2, low-cost production. Direct cost to produce, $9,438 per Bitcoin. So I will tell you, they say note 1 and note 4 here. Note 4 talks about the fact that this is net of the energy credits that they get for giving energy back to the grid. And again, in May, that was $2.4 million. So this is a fairly significant piece of their puzzle. It allows them to have a very low cost per Bitcoin. That number does fluctuate over time, but last year they had, I think, $24 million of revenue from that program. And again, it's not necessarily revenue. Technically, from an accounting standpoint, they count that separately, not in their top line. But effectively, it is reducing their cost because it's energy credits. It's not actual money they're getting. It's credits against their energy bill. It is reducing their cost per Bitcoin to a number that is among the leaders of all the Bitcoin miners. And then strong financial position. Cash, $188 million. Bitcoin held 7,094, and it's now more than that. So that's about $200 million of Bitcoin. So you see, that's close to $400 million of liquidity. If we go to their balance sheet, just very quickly, they have $365 million of current assets. And again, they're showing Bitcoin at $121 million, but we know the fair market value of that is significantly more than that. So really, there's some unrealized gains built in here that due to current accounting policies, they're not allowed to recognize. That is going to change, by the way. And then if you look at the liability side, they have $112 million in current liabilities, $158 million in total liabilities. That's less than half of their current assets, and they have absolutely zero long-term debt. So this is one of the things that has not changed that I like about this company. Extremely strong company, totally liquid. They could basically weather a very long crypto winter, if we were to have a downturn in Bitcoin. And with their low cost per coin, they would thrive in a Bitcoin bull market as well. So they are set up to do good things. They just have some lingering questions out there. Okay, with all that said, let's take a look at Riot's stock chart. So this is Riot on the 1-day time frame. You're going to see Riot hit a low in December 28th of 2022. That's when almost every single Bitcoin miner hit its recent low. So from that low until today, they're up almost 250%. So that is one of the leaders among the Bitcoin miners. All the Bitcoin miners, the vast majority of Bitcoin miners have had an exceptional first quarter 2023. So most of these companies now through 5 full months are up well over 100%. A lot of them are up over 200%. Some of them are up over 300%. So this is very strong performance, but it's not out of the ordinary for the Bitcoin miners so far year to date in 2023. You will see they're almost 30% off of their highs from April of 2023. So if I zoom out a little bit, there's a comparison that I've been giving on all the Bitcoin miners. This is where Riot was in August of 2022. Now, so that local high is something we've been measuring against. Riot has actually done better than almost every single Bitcoin miner relative to this local high. This is now support. A lot of the Bitcoin miners are not even yet back to this line at all, and it's still resistance. Riot has seemed to flip this into support. So that's at around $10.50. It has dipped a little bit below that a couple of days, but Riot's put a pretty solid support line in at $10 or $10.50. So for me, I'm looking for them to hold that line of support. If Riot can hold this $10.50 line of support and Bitcoin can get back into the bull rally that it's been in for a little while, and we can get some clarification from Riot, I do think there's a lot more upside to this stock, but as I look at this stock, for me personally, I'm not sure the risk reward is as strong as it was at the beginning of the year. Remember, we're up 250% from December 28th of 2022. So again, this is not financial advice. There's a potential I'm going to take 10 or 15% of my position in Riot and move it into some of the other Bitcoin miners that I think have a little room to run in the short term. So I'm not abandoning ship on Riot. It is one of my high conviction plays, but I've gone through the reasons that I like it. I've also gone through the questions that I have about it. And again, please do your own due diligence. This is my information, but it doesn't matter what I'm doing with the stock. You guys need to do your own due diligence and make your own decisions. And as you can see, as always, these are extremely volatile stocks, the Bitcoin mining companies. So please invest carefully. That's my update for Riot Blockchain for the month of May. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next video.